Viewer requested gadget prawn powers activate.
Form of T-Mobile myTouch 3G Slide.
T-Mobile keeps improving their Android phone selection, and the myTouch 3G Slide could be their best yet. New features like the Faves Gallery help you connect quickly to your favorite contacts, while the Genius button uses your voice to call, text, or navigate. Plus, a 3.4-inch touchscreen, slide-out keyboard, 5-megapixel camera, and 8 gigs of storage are all packed in for $180 with a contract.
Vinny is so mad.
Are you ready?
He's like, that wasn't supposed to be on the show today.
What are you talking about? It didn't even get to the shoulder. That was barely elbow deep.
I know, come on. That was like child's play right
totally
there.
TV-14. Move along. They search around inside you like you're a Cracker Jack box. I'm looking for that Dakota ring.
Here's a phone.
Oh, temporary tattoo. Gross.
Fun times. All right, the myTouch 3G Slide has the familiar rectangular design of the myTouch series and every other cell phone.
Yes, it's a rectangle. Most cell phones are.
I know.
Except the Samsung Ball.
Can you imagine if you had a phone shaped like a circle?
Just shaped like a nut.
Interesting. All right, so it's a little thicker than an iPhone and a little heavier. The plastic case feels sturdy. So how do you like the design compared to other smartphones?
It's totally fine. It's totally passable.
Yeah?
For me, the biggest thing with any phone like this, that when you have a slide-out phone, is it always feels like, oh, is it going to slide out on accident or get caught? Some people think the spring-loaded action is a little too loose. I thought it was just fine. I felt it slid open when I wanted it to, and stayed closed
I
when
gotta be honest.
to.
I thought the QWERTY keyboard. I feel like this part feels kind of cheap to me.
You know what? We're gonna have to agree to disagree. How about that?
I'm for it.
Okay, done.
I'm for it. That's fine.
It has a 320 by 480 HVGA resolution, which I think is totally made up. Its resolution is basically half the iPhone 4. There's menu shortcut buttons on the bottom, camera and volume control buttons on the side. There's that little G spot there. Just like the real world, you can touch it and nothing will happen. But it's still there for you.
You have to touch it for a very long time for something.
Yeah, I don't have time for that in my life. I really don't. I really don't. You need to just figure it out.
Now, they've really improved the Android interface with the last few updates, 2.1 and 2.2. This phone runs on Android 2.1, so is it as solid as we want it to be?
A lot of numbers. Yes.
Yeah.
In addition to Android, HTC Sense interface does make it more user-friendly. It adds the Leap navigating feature, which you'll see right, Sean, when you pinch. Sort of does that sort of Mac OS.
But you can slide to that stuff, too. I don't know.
Yeah, but why slide when you can pinch, sweetheart?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
That's what all the cool kids are doing.
Mood. It's like what you're in the mood for.
Well, at least now you have both options
there.
That is true. It has a 3.4-inch touchscreen with, of course, the pinch and zoom capabilities. QWERTY keyboard is there. It locks solidly, and the keyboard actually is pretty spread out. It has large buttons. It's easy to type on. If you don't want to use the full QWERTY, there's, of course, an on-screen keyboard with the swipe feature for typing. Overall, it's an Android phone. It does what it's expected to do.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Now, in addition to the normal Android features, you get the Faves Gallery, which is a shortcut to your favorite contacts, as well as the Genius button, the G spot, which we were talking about, that allows for voice commands. So do they all work?
They're okay.
Yeah.
The Faves Gallery will keep track of your calls and your messages with the people that you talk to the most. That, of course, depends on how many friends you're constantly in touch with and how often you message them. But if it's like me, which is not many, it's very useful.
Would I be in your faves?
Yeah. I'm going to say yes, because we're on TV. Yeah, we are live. I'm going to go with yeah. The Genius button works pretty well. Sometimes it would get the name wrong or the word wrong.
Well, that happens with most voice recognition things.
Yeah, I mean, but this one, like, sometimes I would tell it to send a text to a friend, and it would search for Turkish bathhouses.
That's a problem.
Yeah, I mean,
and embarrassing.
Look, it's a welcome detour in my day, just not one I was expecting to take. Overall, it's a decent feature. It works. I don't know that they needed a dedicated button for it. It's more like an app, but it's there. The phone also comes with a 5-megapixel camera and flash, but the image and the video quality were just mediocre. The low-light pictures came out a little blurry, even in daylight. The images just looked dull. That one was not taken during an earthquake. That was just in an editing bay. Of course, there are thousands of apps to download from the Android market. There's still no Angry Birds game, which is redonkulous. It's not Android's fault. It's just my complaint. But there you go. It's an Android phone.
All right, so this phone will cost you $180 with a
Yes.
2-year contract. At that price, what are we rating it?
But it's important that you said at that price.
Yes.
Because if this were a $99 phone, great. It's not. It's $180 with the contract. So we're giving it 3 out of 5. It's definitely a solid smartphone. Again, a little pricey for what you're getting, considering that you can get the Droid Incredible for only 20 extra bucks at Verizon.
And Verizon.
So there you
Much
have it.
better network.
All right, that's it for Gadget Prawn, everybody. Remember, for the latest on news and computers and games and tech, go to your internet machine, type in g4tv.com/thefeed.